Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen, or K.Hong Hobbies. I am primarily a journaler. I journal in my Hobonichi and in a couple other journals. So if you like all things hobby, like this video, subscribe to my channel and follow along with me. In this video, we are going to be looking at February in my Hobonichi journal. February was fun for me because it was month 2 in my Hobonichi cousin. If you saw my last flip through video, you'll know that I went from a Hobonichi techo, which is really small, to a bigger Hobonichi cousin this year. So month 2 was just as fun as month 1. February as a whole was fun. There were things that we did to combat the cold weather. It was very cold. I'm up in Philadelphia, so you'll probably see a lot of me complaining about the cold weather. So we'll see how that goes, but let's go. Okay, so just as a reminder, this is what we're working with. Here's the cover, some inside. February. This is my spending tracker. We spent a lot of money. Red is for unnecessary spending. I have no idea what we were spending it on, but we were just spending it on a lot of things. I think if I remember correctly, since we had just bought our house in December, we took a break in January from buying things, but then in February we ramped up on like stocking things in our house and buying furniture and whatnot. So in February, apparently only one birthday happened, but that's not true. I just didn't fill in February. So again, we will do something new in this section. February's monthlies is really pretty. I loved this color combo that I did. Obviously for Valentine's Day, had to go with the pink and red. Eagles Parade, yay. Super Bowl champs, yay. But then also no snow, question mark. So again, all over the place, which is nice. I read 5 books in February. So starting with P.S. I Hate You down to Natalie Tan's Book of Luck and Fortune. My favorite for the month was Nora Goes Off Script. So that's what I keep here, just tracking all of my books each month. Not much is new with my trackers, but if you want to see the full flip through of my trackers, you can go to my first video of my journal. I only cried 4 times in February. 2 of them were therapy, so nice. Low month of getting my steps. I mean, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 days out of the month, I got 8,000 steps. Again, cold month. My 2025 picture of the month was our Lunar New Year celebration with Chris and his family. And now we get into the dailies. So just a reminder, I always doodle the cover page. This one was inspired by something I saw on Pinterest of drawing the balloons in the colors that I chose for the monthlies. I love how it turns out. And of course, I had to rep that it was Black History Month, just in case people forget. All right, so day 1 was Lunar New Year. So we had everyone over at our house. The colors for Lunar New Year are red and gold. So I had to do that. And then I also put in some pictures that I didn't want to just paste everywhere in the Lucky Money envelope. This year is the year of the snake. Next was just continuing with people staying over after Lunar New Year. We got this espresso machine for a housewarming gift from some of our friends, and to this day we use it every day. We are obsessed, so I had to obviously put it in here, and they got us Cafe Bustelo to start it out. Then I had another money envelope that someone gave me, and what I did was I cut out half of it and then stuck a little secret note here just for me, which is nice. Next, I had a lot to talk about in therapy. This was, I think, one of the days I cried, but I just wanted to remember what we talked about, and so I just put it in here. And that's something that I feel like I do a decent amount of, just because if I don't write it down, chances are I'll forget it. This has still helped me if you want to pause and read it. It's talking about mindfulness. It's picturing your happy place, but it's a little bit different. It's going into more depth, not just picturing it, but feeling like you're there. And that's been super helpful for me when I go to sleep. Here are some days that not a lot happened. I am an academic advisor at a university, and I felt really cool this day because one of the faculty members asked me what my opinion was on something, and I just feel kind of like imposter syndrome sometimes. Even though I've been in this position for a while, it just still catches me off guard when like faculty actually wants to know my opinion. So I was just saying that this is how I feel whenever faculty asks for my opinion, and I feel like a little kid saying, don't worry, I'm a professional. Today, nothing really happened, but I liked the idea that it was a palindrome day, so it was the same front as it was backwards, 2525. So I just put this in a Word document, copied and pasted it over and over again, found a fun font, printed it out, and that's literally all that's on here. This is when you'll see a lot of Super Bowl things vamping up. So sorry if you don't like sports, but that did become my personality for a little bit. But Jameis Winston is hilarious. Even if you don't like sports, I think you'll find him very entertaining. So he just took over as like the celebrity host of the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And he also went to my alma mater, Florida State, and so I just love him so much. I had to write down all of his quotes because they were so funny. And obviously had to say Jameis is a national treasure because that's true. Next day, I had just a really social day, which was nice. I said chatty day. And then who I wanted to continue getting to know. Something that I found is working hybrid. I love just being with people. So I wanted to make sure that the days I was on campus, I was seeing my friends that were on campus as well. So I got lunch with one of my coworker friends, and then I got coffee with another one. And I said February is nice because we're not busy, but I can socialize, which is great. And then this is one of the receipts. I'm still working on how to not get it to like disappear. So if you have any tricks on that, let me know. This used to be covered up until Paper People came out. I took the selfie before I hopped on the call with Amy and acted like I was in the computer because I kind of technically was. So we got to record our Paper People podcast episode, and that was really awesome because I was finally meeting people who understood my hobby, whereas like people in real life still don't fully understand what this journaling thing is. So it was just a really fun chat with Amy because we get each other and like could ask each other about journaling things. But anyway, so this was, that day. And then Chris made chicken parm pasta. Our friend Ryan came over and brought his puppy. So that was really great. And then I just had this really cool cutout from a magazine. And I just felt like it was too cool not to put in here. Then the next day, most importantly, first of all, my library gave out Super Bowl bingo cards, which was incredible. And so I loved it so much. I think this one I didn't get a bingo on, but I was pretty close, which was great. But I just loved that it gave us something to look into the whole time. Go Birds. I put the score, a picture of us, the trophy, and then it was like I just took this off of Google and just tried to make it look as close to the logo as I could. I'm sad because this football was too big, so it's been folding, but it's okay because it still looks great. It's with vellum paper. And then I didn't want to be mean to my friends who are Kansas City fans, so I hid Patrick Mahomes being sad, and then just a tweet of basically Kansas City getting roasted. Another thing in February that happened a lot was just I was sick all the time. I think it's because of the cold. I'm not sure. I just feel like I never got over just like a little bit of a cold that I had. It was not the flu. It wasn't COVID. Like I got tested for everything and it was just a cold that just didn't go away. So I tried to at least make it look good. And I said, I'm sick of being sick, using fun colors and things like that. Then the 11th, I still wasn't over the fact that the Eagles were Super Bowl champs. Everyone was still just talking about it, so I had to meme it. Kendrick as the halftime show was incredible. He was so good. And then, of course, with him low-key bullying Drake, it was really funny. So I had to say Drake. Long live Super Bowl memes. This day, it said, I'm officially a homeowner in the north. I shoveled our driveway and sidewalks and the neighbors. So I just took the picture I posted from Instagram, printed that out, and then kind of just made a continuation of our tree and the snow and what it would look like. Pretty sure I had to go into the office that day, so that's why I was shoveling as well. But that's pretty much all that happened, was just that it was snowing. This day I was doodling in a meeting. I literally just had copy paper and highlighters that were at my office and was just doodling flowers and swirlies. And then I also saw a tutorial on, I want to say TikTok or Reels, that showed me a new way to make flowers where you like fold it almost like an origami. So I was practicing that and had to paste those in here. And then also because I was in like a meeting for a long time, I was just reflecting on that. So I said, I love sitting in meetings where the host is like, hey, what don't you like about blank? And all of the participants go in, and then the host just sits there shocked. Because it was like all advisors just talking about how much they hated some sort of technology that the campus is using. And so the host was like, well. The next day was Valentine's Day, or as Philly people know it as, the day of the Eagles parade. I'm pretty sure for Valentine's Day, Chris and I just got wings because we were like, we don't really want to go out for Valentine's Day. We were watching the parade. We were celebrating everything. So we just wanted to stay in. So Chris got me candy for a candy salad, and I got chocolate for him. And honestly, that was perfect. Yeah, and we were both very happy. And then instead of a card, every special occasion, I asked for Chris to write me a letter. So he did that, and I took a picture of it and put it in here. But then also, instead of a card, he sent this to me on Instagram and said, this is my Valentine for you, because we've been watching a lot of Naruto. And obviously had to keep that in there. And then I just took vellum paper and wrote I love you over and over again, and then took some scrapbook paper and made it as like an envelope. Here are a couple of pieces from the parade that my friend got. I didn't actually go to the parade because it was during work hours, and I just didn't feel like going into the city like that. So I asked someone who I already knew was going, can you please bring me back some parade confetti for my journal? And they did. So, and then they also sent me a picture, so I had to put that in. And then I also put lots of quotes from the players because they were just so quotable. Then on the 15th, it was just a big cooking day. We cook usually on the weekends. For the whole week, we'll meal prep and be good to go for the week. So I actually made a cooking list and a rotting list today. Cooking list, I made baked ziti, Rice Krispies treats. Chris made shrimp lo mein and pho. And then on the rot list, we watched the new Love is Blind, Naruto, and then I did a puzzle and crocheted a little bit. And it was a great day. The next day, our friends had just bought a house, so we went to go visit them and drop off some food. It was so cool because they our friend that's the husband is very handy, and so him and a couple of his friends put in a huge fence around their land. So it was cool to see that. And then they have a bunch of dogs, so we got to see the dogs, and then we ate pizza and watched SNL's 50th special that night. I like putting in little doodles of us, although I guess that's more blonde than I am. Here's an example of when nothing really happens. So on that Monday, nothing had really happened that I wanted to put down, but I was still thinking about the SNL 50th special because a lot of it was really funny. So I wanted to put the standouts of what I loved. So here they are with just different frames around them, and then I wrote something about them. Next was kind of a busy day, but like nothing to necessarily write down. So I got coffee with one of my coworkers, and that was really fun. And then we had a fair for all of the minors that my university offers. So that was really cool because it was our first one, and my friend was putting it on, and so I just wanted to go. So I wanted to support him, and then I just had to write down what my director said. She mentioned how I was the social one of the group, which is pretty accurate. It was just me and then my coworkers, and I was just yapping to everyone. And then I said it's too damn cold because, again, middle of February, it's just gloomy and cold and probably rainy a lot of times, so I was done with it. The next day, this is inspired by Natasha from Natasha in Your Phone. She had done all of these pixels and I was obsessed. So I was remote this day, so I did it during a meeting. And let me tell you, it made the meeting go by so much quicker. I loved the color combo. I loved how like it was kind of time consuming, but also very like cathartic, and it just felt nice. I was gonna put something here, but honestly, nothing really happened that day. So I was like, I'll just leave it blank. Then I was doing a lot of media things. I had finished Nora Goes Off Script, and I was watching the new Evangelicals podcast on YouTube and kind of reflecting on that. I'm trying to practice my drawing more. So I tried to draw the cover of Nora Grows Off script. And I feel like I was so close, but then things just got crazy. But I still love it. I love these colors. So I took the colors off of here and just brought them down and doodled a little bit since it was a little bit blank here. The next day, Chris and I had a date night. We went to see Captain America: New World. It was good. I put a little bit about it and then used my pit stickers to showcase that we went to the movies, and added some colors for a frame to give it a little bit more color on here too. On the 22nd, it was a Saturday, we went to an axe throwing place for our friend Scott's birthday, and I was not good. I wasn't good like 9 times out of 10, but the one time I was good, I won it for us. So the one time we won, I had to document it, and this is what it looked like on the screen. So I just took it and put it into my journal. I also took one of the pamphlets at the front, used it for the name of the axe throwing place, and then I just Googled axe clip art and printed it out and used it here, and then tried to draw a bullseye with like the colors that were in the picture. The 23rd was another kind of veg day. We ordered some food from a southern place and it was so good. It was like briskets, ribs, cornbread, delicious. And it was just something that I was really craving. And then I also had been on a kick in February with protein bagels. So it was like equal parts of Greek yogurt and self-rising flour, and then whatever seasonings you want, all thrown into the air fryer. They're delicious, and I think they have more protein, than regular bagels. But what I like the most is that you can kind of just make them whenever you want and however many you want. So you can do like 2 at a time and it's perfect. And then that day we also started Severance, which is such a good show. So happy to be there. The next day I had seen this illustration on Instagram and I knew I had to instantly recreate it. It says, "Hello, I take back what I said about loving the cozy months. I'm cold and soggy and would like to see the sun again. Thank you very much." And accurate. That's from Abby Rose. And I drew myself how I looked that day, and I was just cold, and yeah. Then on the 25th, the train was delayed over an hour, about an hour. Honestly, I blocked it out of my memory because it was just so long. But I was basically just standing on the train platform for a long time. Luckily it was inside, so I wasn't freezing, but yeah. And then I said I learned something wild today, which for a second I forgot what it was, but it was just something that I didn't really want to write down. I remember what it is now, and it has nothing to do with the train like I thought it was. But yeah, it was just something my mom told me and I was just dumbfounded. And yeah, so it says, "At me, to survive the cold, ABS," which means always be socializing. Because I got coffee with one of my friends and ate lunch with another coworker. Again, you see this, I'm on campus, I'm making sure that I'm hanging out with people. And it works, I think. It seems to work. And then it says, "Pair that with sunny weather," and I am a brand new person. I think this is the first day that sun had actually poked out of the clouds, and it was life-changing. On the 26th, my husband Chris and I celebrated 5 whole years of knowing each other. We matched on an app, and so this was the day that we matched and started talking. I had actually screen recorded our first conversations just so I could go back later after since I deleted the app. And the first thing that he had liked about me was that I had said, "Reach out if you think Jesus, delicious food, and dad jokes are Gucci." And then he liked that. And so the first thing I said was, "Hi, okay, yes for sports, what are your fave?" And then like I was hopping right into it, and he was like, "Hi, Kristen, so nice to meet you." And then like answered all of my question. And I was like, "Oops, yeah, hey, how's it going?" But it was just a great first conversation. And since then, it's still been really great conversations. So 5 whole years. Also this day, I said anxiety control equals dressing in bright, cute colors because I had just been feeling like a little off. So I wore like bright teal pants and a bright pink shirt. And honestly, I do think it helped. The next day I was catching up with one of my friends that I hadn't seen in a while, and I wanted to show her our new house. And so I was looking for places to eat around me that I hadn't tried yet because I know she was always down to try new food. We found an African place near us. Oh my gosh, I had never tried fufu before, and so I knew I wanted to try fufu and a soup with her, and it was so good. Like, I still think about this place and I think about this meal all the time, and I think I need to go back soon because it was so good. And then it was just fun to catch up with old friends and to show her our house because I have known her for a really long time, and so she's seen me from like being a college broke kid to now married and decently being able to afford things. So it's just really cool. And then the last day, I was inspired to make it's a Vietnamese hoagie. It's a banh mi, but we had also had Wawa. And so I took the Wawa wrapper and made it like a hoagie. But Chris came up with all of these words, and that a banh mi is a way to look at life. It represents life. The baguette, so the bread, is staying grounded because it's like thick and hearty. The pate, which is like the spread, is spreading joy. The meat, or the Viet ham, is remembering your roots. The cucumber is new beginnings. Pickled veggies is patience. Cilantro is growth. And sriracha is keeping it exciting. And so I made all of this with just like scrapbook paper, taped it all together, and then cover it and tape it with the Wawa and tape. And that was February and my Hobonichi cousin. If you haven't seen my other video, go ahead and watch my January flip through. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you made it this far, comment down below. And wherever you are, have fun.